guide presents to you the fundamentals, the basics of safety decision making that we know from years and years experience in child. Written the guide in such a way that the information is accessible, understandable, user-friendly for judges and lawyers.
So the initial goal behind writing this book was to provide information for the legal community, that being lawyers and judges, on the basics of safety decision making. So the primary safety decisions that we focus on are the initial removal decision, and then later on the decision whether and when to reunify the child with their parents. Really, I would say an underlying motive in writing this book is that when I say we, I meant myself and my co-author Terry Roe from the Resource Center for Child Protective Services. We felt that what was really missing in the legal community were the basic principles and framework for understanding how child safety decisions were made. We felt that this was problematic because what we were seeing around the country is that oftentimes judges would defer to the Child Welfare Agency recommendation and not scrutinize that recommendation because they lacked an understanding of really what questions to ask. So one of the goals, in addition to providing this information to the legal community, was to elevate the level of accountability for child welfare agencies. So we've done training and technical assistance on the guide in about 35 states, and the response, it's kind of difficult to characterize the response overall. I would say that it's been very positive, but it's been interesting because the guide is bias neutral in the sense that it intends to address both an over-removal problem and an under-removal problem. Let me explain what I mean by that. So it's our assertion, and perhaps controversial one, perhaps not, that in this country, in child welfare, we have children that are being removed from their homes that don't in fact need to be removed from their homes because they could be kept safe at home, or kids that were legitimately removed because they were unsafe initially, languishing in foster care and staying in foster care for far too long a period of time because we take our eye off the prize and we stop looking and focusing on safety. So that's what we call the over-removal problem, kids in foster care that don't need to be there. The under-removal problem are kids that are at home and are unsafe at home, but because we do an insufficient investigation or the analysis of the information that comes in is insufficient in some way, mistakes, in other words, that are made in the child welfare system, kids remain at home in unsafe living conditions. So the response that our technical assistance gets tends to depend on which of those two problems characterizes the region, so protective care. By and large, the lawyers for children and the lawyers who represent parents in these cases love it. As the guide provides tools, information, basic principles to those lawyers so that they can hold the child welfare agency accountable for doing what they should be doing on behalf of these families. Having jurisdictions evaluate the benefit of using the ideas and tools from the safety guide. So gathering baseline data and information on outcomes for children and comparing that after the technical assistance on the guide is delivered and folks are using the tools and materials in the guide. Everybody talks about improved outcomes for children, but I really do believe that with the safety guide tools, bench cards, and an understanding of the ideas and principles within the guide, that outcomes not only in terms of safety, but permanency and well-being will be improved as well.